with ABC News 2020 correspondent and host of What Would You Do, John Quiñones, the John Quiñones. He's here to talk about a new podcast, Vanished, What Happened to Vanessa. John, we're so happy to have you here. So this podcast, it's an expansion of your reporting on the murder case of Private First Class Vanessa Guillén at the Fort Hood Army Base in Texas back in 2020. So many were captivated by this story, but what is it that's kept you so connected to the case?
You know, I do so many of these true crime stories on 2020, and my heart always goes out, you know, as they do to all of us, to the victims' families and how they struggle to move forward and their search for justice. Well, this one really resonated with me because I could relate to it. You know, the victim, Vanessa Guillén, was from Texas. I'm from Texas. She was Mexican-American. She disappears on this, one of the largest military bases in the country, and no one can find her for more than 2 months. The family's pleading, where is Vanessa? And it seems, at the beginning anyway, that the military isn't doing anything. So we had to shine a light on it, and I'm glad we're shining a light on it again.
Yeah, and it was such a mystery. It really captivated the nation, captivated the world, I think, for sure. As one would expect from a John Quiñones special, you have never before audio. You have new updates from the family.
That's right. Yeah, we talked to the Pentagon again, and we talked to Vanessa's family, her older sister, Myra, who led the charge when Vanessa went missing, and they tell us what's happened since. How the only person charged in the crime and convicted of the crime apologized to the family. And we also learned what the military is doing now to try to make things better so this kind of awful tragedy doesn't happen again.
Yeah. The podcast is available now. It's going right in my ears as soon as we're done here. But what has the audience response been so far?
It's been amazing. You know, 5 years later, there's a lot of interest. And I think the battle cry of "I am Vanessa" really resonated, and it's still having repercussions throughout the military. People are coming out, once she did, to tell us what happened to them.
Wow. So what do you hope happens as a result of this podcast shining more light on this story, not only for Vanessa's family, but for Army reform in general?
I hope we learn from Vanessa's family how to speak up and how to sound the alarm when we see anything like this. You know, it's the old "what would you do" term, you know, sound the alarm, speak up. Silence is complicity. And we're seeing a lot more of that speaking up, thanks to her and her battle cry and her family's persistence in trying to get justice.
All right, the podcast is called Vanish, What Happened to Vanessa. John, thank you again. We appreciate you.